Like, it ain't no way. I'm not about to get on nobody dance floor. Okay, I'm not about to compete in nobody dance competition. I'm not about to compete in nobody's gymnastics competition. So yeah, I was like, it ain't worth it. Nah, this pain ain't worth it. But that's the total opposite when God stretches us, because God knows what our next season is going to bring. What's up, y'all? It's Inesha, and my mandate is to equip, encourage, empower, inspire, and ignite women to influence and impact their world, all for the glory of God. I am a wife, a mom, a ministry leader, a corporate IT leader by day, and a business owner and founder by night. I love all things Jesus, business, and letting my creative juices and imagination run wild. If you have found yourself here, I want you to go ahead, pull up a seat, because this is the PowHerhouse Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the PowHerhouse Podcast. I'm so excited about this episode because we are going to be talking about 3 things that the Lord showed me as it relates to stretching. Now, this episode comes as a result of a dream I had. Like, I'm a dreamer. Sometimes I don't like the fact that I'm a dreamer. I promise you. Like, a lot of people want to be a dreamer of dreams, but listen, baby, when you writing down dreams, like, it ain't nobody business. And then you yourself have to then decipher and decide, okay, which dreams are dreams from the Lord, which dreams are dreams from my flesh, which dreams are dreams from the enemy. Like, it's a lot. Okay, it can be a lot, but God has graced us with the ability and the power to be able to interpret or get the training needed to be able to interpret. So I try not to complain too much, but listen, it'd be a lot. Anyway, so I had this dream, right? And y'all, it was after the interpretation. It was such a beautiful dream. But before the interpretation, like during the dream, I was like, I'm sorry, not during the dream, because even during the dream, like it felt like I was like in real life. But when I woke up initially, I was like, what we doing? Lord, what does this even mean? Because typically for me, the way I process my dreams is that I always look for the literal interpretation first. And then if that don't make sense, I'll move to the symbolic meaning, just by nature of the dreams I have. So for you, you may do the opposite. For you, because you are heavily a symbolic dreamer, you may typically try to interpret your dreams symbolically and then try to interpret them literally if symbolically it doesn't make sense. But mine is the reverse. So anyway, in this dream, it was all about, well, this part was about being stretched. Okay. And so to tell you the interpretation, I guess, instead of going into this whole long spiel about my dream, the interpretation of the dream is that there were 3 things that came from this dream. The first thing that came from this dream was, well, wait, pause, let me back up. Because in the dream, all right, I will tell you this part. In the dream, like the Lord, in this instance, right? The Lord was stretching me. I didn't want to be stretched. Okay. I did not. But the Lord was stretching me. He was showing me being stretched. And as I was being stretched, it created a level of intimacy naturally between me and the Lord. It created a intimacy that was very close knit. Like the more I was stretched, the closer I was getting to God. And in the dream, in the dream while I was going on, like I understood that's what was happening, but not fully. But when I woke up, I was like, okay, is this what we doing? Are we is this stretching season for real, for real? Because Lord, I feel like I've already been stretched enough. Like I need a break from stretching. And the Lord's like, nah, you still got more. You still have more. So when I woke up and I was just talking with the Lord and getting the interpretation, from those conversations, I have three things that the Lord showed me about stretching. And the first thing is that although being stretched is uncomfortable, it is such a beautiful experience. Like in that dream, the level of intimacy that was created from me allowing myself to be stretched, it is unmatched, like unparalleled. You know, when you have dreams, like it's already on 100. Whenever you dream, like nothing is like how it is in the natural. Everything is amplified, everything is more explosive, more intense, more everything when you're dreaming. And so even in that experience, the level of comfortableness, I'm sorry, the level of intimacy that was created outside of comfortableness was just so unreal. And the Lord was just showing to me how when we allow Him to stretch us, there is such a beautiful natural intimacy between us and Him that we create. And it's not anything that's forced, it's not anything that's coerced, it's a natural byproduct of the stretching. Because if God is stretching us, right? I don't know if you were an athlete, but if you ever have had anyone to stretch you, you know that there are some stretches where like you are super, like you're super close to them because they have to pull you, my God, they have to pull you closer to them so that you can get the full proper stretch. And so what God was showing me is that even though we may be uncomfortable while we are being stretched, the intimacy that is created is such a beautiful thing. Some of us are desiring to be for more intimacy with God. And the reason why we haven't found that intimacy with Him is because we haven't allowed Him to stretch us. We haven't allowed Him to get us outside of our comfort zones so that He can stretch us to the place that He desires for us. So that's number one. Okay. Number two is that stretching isn't comfortable, but it prevents unnecessary injuries. Again, you may or may not have been an athlete. I played all kind of sports growing up. Like I think it was like a rite of passage for everybody who grew up in the country to just play any and everything you could get your hands on because there was nothing else to do. Okay, so you was going to play sports. But if you ever know or see athletes before a game, they're always stretching, they're always warming up. Why? One, because it prevents injuries. Two, it alerts their bodies to say, listen, we're about to go to work. Okay, I need you to wake up. I need your muscles and your tendons and your ligaments and everything. I need everything to be nice and loose because we about to go out here and do some work. Okay, so when we allow God to stretch us, when we allow God to take us through the motions of being stretched, then we are now preventing our own selves, right, from having any kind of injury that may take place in the future. Stretching is a preventive measure against any injury that may occur from us walking our walk with God, going on the journey with God. We don't know what He has for us, right? But what we do know is that when we allow Him to stretch us, we are then prepared for whatever lies ahead. When we allow Him to stretch us, then we know that, man, like there's a less likelihood of me getting an injury because I've already stretched out my muscles. I've already loosened them up. They are already very well aware that we got work to do. Okay. So that's number two. Number three is that stretching, although it's not comfortable, it prepares you for your next. Again, when you are getting stretched, the your body in the natural, your body is preparing for what it's about to do. Your body is preparing, is getting prepared for the game, is getting prepared for the wrestling match, is getting prepared for whatever it is that you're going into into the next segment or the next moment is, right, whatever it is that you're preparing for. It's the same way, even spiritually. When we allow God to stretch us, we are effectively saying, listen, we got work to do in the next. I don't know what this next season is going to bring, but God, I'm going to allow you to stretch me in whatever way, shape, or form you need to stretch me so I can be prepared for the next season. Yeah, I remember. So my daughter danced for like years and she did gymnastics for years. And I remember she's so flexible. I am not. Okay. I am flexible enough. I am not dancer level flexible or gymnastics level flexible. I'm just not. And so I decided at my big age, okay, that I was going to be flexible like my daughter. Child, she put me through all of the stretches and stuff that they did. I said, "Oh, the devil is a liar." The devil is a liar. Y'all, my inner thighs was hurting, my hamstrings was hurting, my calves was hurting. I think I did that routine 2 days in a row, and that was it. That was it. You know why? Because the type of stretching that we were doing, there's no season for me in the next that I need that type of training, that type of stretching. Like it ain't no way. I'm not about to get on nobody dance floor. Okay, I'm not about to compete in nobody dance competition. I'm not about to compete in nobody's gymnastics competition. So yeah, I was like, it ain't worth it. Nah, this pain ain't worth it. But that's the total opposite when God stretches us. Because God knows what our next season is going to bring. He knows what He's stretching us and giving us capacity for in the spirit, for what's coming next. Maybe there's a promotion that's coming. Maybe there's some type of challenge that you're going to have to work your way through. And God is like, listen, I need to stretch your capacity in prayer. I need to stretch your capacity in fasting. I need to stretch your capacity in reading the word. I need to stretch your capacity in your ability for your mind to absorb information. Why? Because there's a season, there's a next that I have for you. And in order for you to be prepared to succeed in that next, you need to be stretched in the now. Yeah. So I don't know about you, but this is stretching season, apparently. And apparently it's stretching season for you too, because I was led and stirred to share this with all of us. So those are the three things that the Lord revealed to me or showed me about stretching based on my dream. And that is, even though it's uncomfortable, it creates a beautiful experience because we get to be intimate with God. It prevents injuries and it prepares us for our next. Okay, so if any of those scenarios are ones you find yourself in or you want to be in, get ready for the stretching because it is sure to come. And speaking of stretching, I have this desire. It really was an idea that just popped in my head. Okay. And I'm just gonna run with it. But I really want to take have 2 to 5 women who love to read, number one, love to learn. Um you're not afraid of presenting or sharing your ideas, sharing your thoughts, like speaking in front of people. It's going to be a small group, but you can't be afraid to share what it is that you've been learning because the thought is these 2 to 5 women along with myself, we will form an accountability group, study group, whatever you want to call it, like a push group. I along with the 2 to 5 women will get together and we will study personal development books, business development books, spiritual development books. The focus is to learn from one another. We're all going to read different books, so it's going to be anywhere from 3 to 6 different books that will be discussed every time we get together. So I'll go through more details as time goes on, but that is the thought, is that 2 to 5 women along with myself, we get together, we discuss the things that we've been learning in the books and what we have been applying as well, and see how collaboration and really compressing time, because it really is born out of this desire for me to just really learn and know as much as I can. I don't know, like I just feel this burden to learn and grow and know as much as I possibly can for whatever reason. And I know there has to be at least 2 to 5 other women who feel the very same way. So I want us all to get together and really dive deep into these books and extract the information out of it and share amongst ourselves collectively so that we can all grow, so that we can all, supersede our own expectations and really get pushed toward what God has for us. So that is a special stretching invitation for you guys. If that is something that you're interested in, I will put a link in the comments below. It'll be a Google form, so you can, or some type of form where you can fill it out and say, yes, I want to be a part of this. But I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna tell you who it's not for. It's not for people who start things and never finish them. And trust me, I have had things like that in my life where I'll start and I don't finish. This is not one of those things. Once you put your hand to the plow, there's no turning back. So once we have solidified as a group, you have to be committed to reading your book and sharing the insights on whatever sharing schedule that we decide on. Number one, you have to be like, no excuses about it. There is like, I don't care what happens. You can have the flu. Okay. And you still going to read what you said you were going to read and share the insights that you received from the book. So it's not a fluff group. It's not a, oh, we're just gonna get together and talk. Like, we are going to push each other to be our absolute best. So if that's you, if that's something that you think that you would like to be a part of, please fill out the form and I'll share more details as we go. Okay. So the last thing, we meet every single Tuesday for PowHerhouse Women. Every Tuesday night, to be specific, we get together and we really just hear what the Lord has to say concerning us, to push us, to stretch us, to help us to grow in the areas of life, motherhood, wifehood, womanhood, marriage, like all of the things. We learn together, we grow together, we're stretched together, and the focus really is to be PowHerhouse Women for the Lord. So that's the focus. So if you want to be a part of us and what we're doing, that link is in the description box as well. But I'm telling you, don't miss God and don't miss your moment. Okay. So anyway, that's all I have. Thanks for tuning in to the PowHerhouse podcast. And I can't wait to see you guys on next time. Peace.